On this special day, which is special for three regions. One, it's the state Jharkhand Day. 23 years ago, Jharkhand state was carved out of Bihar on this day. It's a day when Bhavan Birsa Munda, a great freedom fighter, an iconic leader of tribal resistance against the British, was born. And thanks to the Prime Minister Modi, that this day is now celebrated for last couple of years as Janjatiya Gaurav Divas, a day of pride for and glory for our Janajatis, our tribes of this country. Friends, a statehood day we celebrate, which we have started again, initiative of the Prime Minister, because we find in our day-to-day life, we are all busy, engrossed in our local affairs, confined to our state, and over the years we find getting more and more insular. At the time of independence, we had hardly about a dozen states. States have multiplied to 28 and 8 union territories. And each state, people living therein, largely their life is getting confined to that state. Of course, there are people who are working in other parts of the country and even abroad. But a sense of new identity that I am from this state, I am from that state, this is growing, this is multiplying. And in the process, person of one state is not aware of the beauty, the richness, the geography and culture of other parts of India which is falling in other states. Ours is a beautiful country, rich in human resources, rich in geography, immensely rich in culture. And culture of this country exists in continuum from one part of the country to the other. If you travel along from Kanyakumari to Kashmir by road, and if you stop every 50 kilometers, spend time, you will not find a difference, a marked difference. But over a distance, suppose you go 500 kilometers, you find the difference. So this incremental differences that happens in human life, in human society. When viewed in continuum, we see the oneness. But when we see in segments, it looks different. And creation of states, which were essentially a political and administrative delimitation of Bharat, because of course Bharat is much, much older. Our oldest state is not even 100 years old. Jharkhand is 23 years old. Telangana is not even 10 years old. So new states are coming and will come for better governance, for meeting the aspirations of the people. But the fact is, this is the part of the whole, contributing through its richness to the beauty of the whole. This we are missing increasingly. We are getting insular more and more. So the idea behind the statehood celebration day beyond the state, because the statehood is celebrated in that state for political reason, that we got the state. Good. But the rest of the country also must know the beauty of the people and the place, which is a part of Bharat. Jharkhand is one such a state, immensely rich in natural resources, immensely rich in culture, immensely rich in bravery, and various talents we have heard. Commander Gauri Mishra mentioned about sports persons. Yes, it has produced the world-class sports. It is there in the blood. So, when we celebrate a statehood day of Jharkhand, we are celebrating the diversity of this country. We need to know more and more. Other day, just 2 weeks back, we celebrated a statehood day of So many states, because the 1st of November is the state on which even the whole Madras state was reorganized. So many other states were created. Linguistic reorganization of states happened. And we celebrated in a beautiful way. We had more than 1,500 people who assembled here, and it was a wonderful time. Seeing the beauty of our country, beauty located in different parts of the different pockets of this country. So that is how the idea of a statehood day, celebration of a statehood day all over the country. Jharkhand is not, it doesn't belong only to the people of Jharkhand. It is a part of India. It belongs to the whole of country, and whole of the country must be proud of it. But to be proud of it, we must know what is this state. What is special about it? What is unique about it? This is an occasion to know more about different parts of our country. That is the rationale behind Statehood Day celebrations all over the country, and for which I believe that Prime Minister deserves an accolade, that there is a person, visionary, who thought of it. I didn't know much about the resistance movement in the Northeast, resistance against the British, against few names from Assam. But when I went and started seeing the place and meeting the people, every village fought. British did not get even an inch of this land without fight. And our tribal brothers and sisters, they fought valiantly. They gave their life. When I went to Nagaland, I found thousands of Nagas. They gave their life fighting the British to keep them away. They are not on our records. When you went to Meghalaya, every inch there was a tribal leaders who resisted. They resisted the British, and many of them, they gave their life. It's all over. And that's the story all over the country. But unfortunately, their contribution especially does not find any reference in our national freedom movement. This is nothing but ingratitude of the highest order. And that is how the Prime Minister thought. In the 75 years of independence, we must document, we must research and document unsung heroes of our national freedom movement. And when we started looking, we started getting in thousands and thousands. In our own land, here in our own state, several thousand people gave their life. Not hundreds, several thousands gave their lives. And they are nowhere. Their descendants are not even aware. They could be in personal capacity, but the neighbor is not aware that here is a person whose grandfather gave life for the freedom that we are enjoying today. Now, this is not acceptable. So when we started building, documenting them, we must remember them. Friends, when Prime Minister launched this Janjatiya Gaurav Divas, it is to remind us that our tribal brothers and sisters, they are part of our family, and they have contributed immensely to our national life, including our national freedom movement. And we must be proud of them. Today, when you go to a tribal colony, invariably, someone who takes you there identifies them with their primitiveness, with their backwardness. As if backwardness is a tribal culture. Somehow, in the name of culture, misreading what culture is all about, we did not do much to lift them up. A person who is a tribal doesn't mean that the person cannot have a decent pakka house. A tribal means, it doesn't mean that the lady has to cook food only on the woods, burning the woods and charcoal. She shouldn't have cooking gas. Tribal doesn't mean that she has to go and fetch water from the far off water pool and not to have a water tap in the house. Modern amenities of life is a right of everyone. Education is as much their right as of anybody else. But when we look at the overall indices of development, our tribal brothers and sisters, they are left behind. How can a country grow when you are keeping your own people, such a large number of people? And they are large because in our country we have over 10 crores. More than 8.5% of our population are scheduled tribe people. Their number is more than 10 crores. Even if the number is less, like especially these primitive tribal groups, their number in a couple of millions, 75 of them together perhaps about 28 or 30 lakhs. Even one person is important, 28 lakhs is a large number. They have to be part of our national journey. They have to be made, they have to be equipped, they have to be enabled, they have to be given all that is due to them so that they march hand in hand with rest others in taking this country to its destiny. Country cannot grow by keeping these people behind and all the time saying this is the tribal culture. I think there has been a huge degree of exploitation of tribal communities just in the name of preserving their culture. And it has been there right from the beginning. Very first, soon after, in the first decade after independence, our tribal policy of Government of India was shaped by a person called Verrier Elwin, the British guy, who convinced the Prime Minister, the then Prime Minister, that they are innocent people, close to nature. They should not be contaminated with modernity or civilization. And this was accepted. I really wonder what amount of injustice has been caused to them. Culture is identity of a community, but that does not lie in just all the time remaining in poverty.